I think we lost count. Well,
Okay.
I think the podcast was so good that it just kept going.
Let's just roll with it. Just casual as usual. Okay. You say when.
We're ready.
Okay. Welcome back to Sin City Podcast with Vegas. I have someone here that everybody will know and I'm really excited about. Kevin Orpurt. That is so.
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? I'm thinking, hey, Kevin.
Yeah, that's right.
I got it.
Kevin.
I got it down.
Okay.
Thank you
Good.
for coming today. I
My
love
pleasure.
this.
Yeah,
I'm so
thank you.
excited.
Thank you.
How is retirement treating you?
It's okay.
You got to grow the hair. I love the hair.
Yeah.
Love that.
Thanks. I haven't had hair this long since.
What are you going for? I'm loving it.
I don't know. Maybe not a whole lot longer.
You rock
but,
it out, buddy. You
well,
do
thanks.
you.
Thanks. And the whiskers too.
Yes, exactly. No one's telling you how to wear your face or how to wear anything. You're just doing yourself now.
Yeah, true. And I haven't worn a bow tie. I've worn it twice.
I was gonna say, will you ever wear a bow tie again? Or are you just like,
I don't know. We'll see.
You did rock
We'll
them
see.
out though. We have to give you that.
Yeah, thanks. So what did you ask? You had to ask me something.
Oh, how is retirement?
It's
how's
okay.
that going?
I'm trying. I still have trouble knowing what day it is.
Yes.
And that's so I have a little calendar on my desk and I check off the days and write things down. But yeah, I wake up and I think, is this Saturday? Is this Friday? I just don't know.
I am the same way. I've got 3 calendars. I'm old school. I write everything down on my calendars. And ever since I retired from hair, I'm like, what is today?
Yeah.
What's going on? And now with Gracie, our daughter in homeschool, I'm like, what day is it? I have no idea. But that's not a bad thing to complain about. That's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah, true.
So what are you planning on to? Have you hit the beach yet? What are you going to do with some free time?
I read a lot.
Oh, nice.
I like to write,
You write? What do you write?
Well, I write about things that I talk on my podcast.
Cool. Yeah, your podcast is
Hey
awesome.
Kevin,
You want to go ahead and tell everybody about your podcast real quick?
well, yeah, it's called Hey Kevin, and it is it's just a podcast where I just talk. I try to recreate some of the things that I had at TV, Channel 10. So I usually do like a weather word, because I love
weather word of the day. I was going to ask you that actually.
I love words, and so I like kind of kooky words that describe weather. So I'll do that. A weather quiz. We'll do a Hey Kevin sometimes where people will ask, hey Kevin, why is this happening? Or
Why did the clouds look this way?
Correct.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So there's that, and so I put a lot of work into that. I write a little article for the Prairie Press up in Paris, Illinois.
You do?
Yeah.
Have you just recently started doing that?
Shortly after I was let go from the TV station, they approached me and said, hey, you want to write a little article once a week? So it's every Friday in the Prairie Press.
Are you enjoying that? That's fun.
I am. Yeah, I am.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
So something I wanted to ask you during your career.
Yes.
I saw you on the paranormal.
Okay.
I have to know. Okay, so
yeah, all right.
Back Zach Bagans, whatever. I heard he's not a very nice person. I've heard that from multiple people. But did you get pushed? Because I've been inside Ashmore Estates a million times. Anybody who lives in Illinois or close there has been in there, broken in, and had a great time. What happened that day?
I don't know.
Yeah, so that was a real thing. Because
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and I totally believe in this stuff. So
Hold on. What happened?
Oh.
What happened?
By all means.
Okay.
You're gonna love this.
Here's the story of Ashmore Estates.
Yeah.
And me being attacked.
Yeah.
By a ghost. Ashmore Estates it's an old former county home, I think, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Right.
Up in, I think it's Coles County, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I think. At any rate.
It's by Charleston. I think that is Coles, actually.
Yeah.
I believe so.
So, I had this idea back at the TV station. This is several years ago. I had this idea, and the internet was just starting to really, where we could stream things and so on. So I had this idea that we would go to Ashmore Estates that was allegedly haunted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, well, we'll go up there for 2 nights. And on the first night, I'll take a group of people, 3, who don't believe in ghosts.
Fair.
And so we'll have them up there and we'll see if they experience anything. Then on the second night, we'll take 3 people who are believers and see if they experience, and then we'll compare
notes.
What happened.
Yeah.
So the first night was great. Everything was fine.
Did you guys spend the night there? Or just come
Yes,
back?
yeah, we were all,
Ew, you
yeah,
spent the night?
yeah, we were all
Ooh,
night. We
that's brave.
started our web stream at like 11:30 or something like that after the 11 o'clock news. And so we were streaming, and the first night was fine. Nobody really experienced anything or whatever. I admit Ashmore Estates is kind of spooky.
It is creepy.
And so the second night, we went up, and it was a rainy night. It was the night
That
before.
just totally sets the scene for a good story.
It was the night before Halloween, or a couple of nights before Halloween.
Even better.
Yeah. And the fact is that between the first night and the second night, we were staying over in Charleston, and I didn't sleep much. I didn't eat much. I was dehydrated. So
What was it? Because you were out of fear, or just no
no,
time?
no. I wasn't. No, I was just overworked.
Okay,
you know?
that's not. Yeah, that
And
sucks.
because it was a thing we were trying to do. And at any rate, the second night, I started feeling kind of creepy. It was raining, and that place, there's a lot of limestone
Mhm.
for the foundation. And limestone, whether you know, I don't know if you know this, kind of breathes.
Did not know that.
Yeah, a limestone breathes,
So,
and
like,
it
comes to
it
life at
absorbs.
night.
Yeah, it absorbs
Ooh.
moisture and so on. And so I was in the basement, and I just kind of sitting there, staring at the wall or something.
Who
I
are
don't
you
know.
with? Was it you and the
It was me, the people from the TV station,
right?
and I was kind of alone, actually. So
Uh-uh.
we all sort of went on and explored on our
I'll
own.
be right back. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Things
And-
not to say.
That's a terrible.
Yeah. So I had this chair I was sitting in, and this was really late at night. This is the second night. It was about, I don't know, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Perfect.
And,
The witching hour.
Some of the people I was with heard something upstairs, so they all scurried up, and I said, I'll stay here. I was sitting in this chair, and
Alone.
alone.
You're a brave man.
And the next thing I know is they're hovering over me. I'm on the floor.
You were unconscious? You got knocked unconscious?
Well, I passed out.
Oh,
I don't know if I got knocked
shit.
unconscious, but I fell out of this chair onto this concrete floor, broke my shoulder.
Yes, that is true. That is true. I didn't know if that was rumor or not. Confirmed. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
broke my shoulder, and these guys are hovering over me, and they're saying, Kevin, stop clowning around, blah, 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 blah.
Like, does this
And-
look like a joke?
Well, I didn't realize what had happened quite at first, except that it hurt.
Oh.
And so then they called the ambulance, and they came, and I was going to do a live shot on the morning show that day to follow up and let them know how the second night went.
Right.
Well, I'm in the hospital, and so they had to go on and say, well, Kevin's had a problem.
What did they say to cover you up? Like, he got
I
beat
don't
up by a
re- yeah.
ghost last night. He's out.
Yeah,
He's
I don't
chilling.
remember. Well, I know that the general manager came up and got me they took me to the hospital, I think it was in Charleston. And so I'm there, all jacked up on morphine because,
Well, that doesn't suck. I would
yeah,
imagine.
yeah. And so they brought me back and sat me in the studio with Susie Dinkle
Yes.
as kind of a follow-up interview. Well, here I am, all disheveled. I just got out of the hospital. I broke my shoulder. I don't know what has happened. And she says, Kevin, how'd it go? And I'm still all morphed out.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, you have to follow the light. You have to look for the light. And that's what, so, so anyhow.
The morphine takes you to the light.
Yeah, my true belief, and I know this is where you're going, I think, my belief, I'm not convinced I was attacked by a ghost.
Okay. What
Okay.
do you think then?
I think I passed out because I was
Dehydrated. Overworked.
dehydrated and very tired. And I think it was just a mishap.
So you just remember kind of waking up. You don't remember anything prior to waking up, like being like
No.
touched or being
No.
totally afraid.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you just fainted and hit the heart because it is all like concrete in that whole place, and
Right.
you probably stood up and hit the ground and
Yeah.
broke your shoulder.
Yeah.
Or possibly
It's-
you got attacked by a ghost.
it's
but
not
there's
impossible.
No proof.
Yeah.
Do you believe in stuff like that? Have you ever had
No.
a ghost story that you
I never have.
tangible for you?
No. I will say this.
Uh-huh.
while I'm not sure I believe in ghosts, I've never seen a ghost. I've never really experienced that. One question I would have is why do ghosts wear clothes? Right? Why? Why would a ghost wear clothes? I believe there's a spirit world. I think there's probably something. And when I was 16, my best friend got killed in a car wreck.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. I was
course.
just completely crushed. And I went up to this hill outside of Peru, Indiana, where I grew up, where he and I used to go, and we just looked down into the little valley where Peru is. And in the evening, we could watch the lights come on one by one.
That's
just
cool.
watch the lights come on.
Is Peru a very small town, I'm assuming?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And so I went back to the spot where he and I used to go. And I don't know if it was real or my imagination or whatever, but I experienced him coming to me and saying, it's going to be okay.
That's
I'm fine.
beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know if that was, to me, it was real.
I 100% believe you. I've had people that are very close to me pass away, and they've come to me in dreams with messages.
Yeah.
And I've got a ghost story that doesn't have. Can I tell you a quick ghost story?
You may. Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to get you hooked up with my friend who has a podcast called Or So They Say. Her and her twin sister are paranormal investigators.
Uh-huh.
They would eat this up.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys are gonna love but so I was about in my 20s, and I'll make it short. I was sitting at the edge of the bed with my girlfriend at the time, and I stood up and I got picked up. Like I can feel hands around my throat. I got picked up and slammed on the bed. I couldn't breathe, but something was telling me in the back of my mind. It happened. It felt like 5 minutes. It was probably a minute, 30 seconds, just 30 seconds, something like that. And then something was telling me, you're going to be okay. This is all going to be over soon. Cause I was reaching for her. She was trying to like run out and get friends. I'm like, don't leave. But I couldn't talk cause I couldn't breathe. And next thing I know, it was just over. And I slept for like 2 days after that. But like she will even tell you, I was lifted off the ground by something that was not there and pounded into that bed. So I definitely personally believe in all kinds of things.
Prior to that, were you messing around with something that you should not have, like calling for spirits or
no, I do not do the Ouija board.
Okay.
I do not do the Ouija board. When I was about my daughter, she's 11. My dad caught me and my girlfriends doing Bloody Mary in the mirror. He made them go home, and he took me into the living room and he made me watch The Exorcist. He goes, you want to mess around with the occult? You want to mess around with stuff like that? This is what's going to happen. So I don't mess around with stuff like that.
Okay.
I love Halloween. I love getting jump scared. I love horror movies. I love stuff like that. But if I go the rest of my life and never see anything, that's aces in my book. Yeah. I am fine. I don't want to see that stuff. I am good.
You mentioned Zach Bagans.
Yes, yeah. What was he like? What was he like?
Okay, let's
get some dish, Kevin.
Okay, I after this thing happened with up at Ashmore Estates, I got an email from the producers of whatever show Zach Bagans is on. What is it?
I don't even remember what the
I can't remember. Anyway.
Ghost Hunters.
Ghost Hunters?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And they said, we understand you had an experience and we're going to be in that area and want to know, would you want to have
Zach
an interview?
wasn't there when that happened.
What?
I thought you were doing an interview with Zach when that happened. That's the rumor.
No. This was later. This was later. Okay. So I said, okay. So they said, we'll be up there at this time on a certain day. And I drove up. And they were late. Okay. So I was standing up there with a guy who owned the place at the time, a guy named, I think his name was Scott Kelly. And so up the road here, they'd about an hour late, comes this van, rattling around and dust behind it and everything. And these guys get out of this van, and I see this one fellow who had dark kind of slick back hair, and he had rings on, like skulls and little cross, and the belt buckle and everything, and
all dieseled out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought to myself, okay, I know what I know what these guys are at. They want a show.
Exactly.
They have to put on a TV show. So I went through and told them what happened. And I told him exactly what happened. And somewhere along the line, Zach goes, demons, they're demons. So I said, well, maybe. And I I have this thing called essential tremor, which I inherited from my mother. So I take some medicine for that to keep me from shaking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And but I hadn't taken my medicine that day, so my lip was trembling a little bit while I'm telling him this story.
Oh no!
And he
probably ate that up.
Oh, he
didn't
did, yeah.
I knew it.
And he goes, oh, did you see how scared he was? How scared he was? And they finished the interview. The camera was still on. And I haven't told anybody this in public. This is what I do.
Ooh, news.
Okay. So they said, well, he's really upset. And they said, you can leave and you can walk down the steps that go out of the building, just about 4 or 5 steps. And so they had the camera behind me, and I walked out into this little field outside of Ashmore Estates, and I put my hands up behind my head like that, and kind of, and they go, he's really upset. Well, so I thought, okay,
They got all Hollywooded out on you.
there's your show, and but the same spot where I explained that I fell, that got pushed out of the chair, that Zach spent the night at Ashmore Estates. He was in that same chair, and wouldn't you know it, about halfway through the night, he's going, oh, I felt it.
He's
So anyway, but he's made a bunch of money doing it. So
yeah,
what are you going to do?
He has. Isn't it funny whenever you hear rumors about yourself? Do you want to know the story from the way I've heard it?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so you're in an interview with Zach Bagans, whatever, potato vodka, it doesn't matter. And you're in an interview with him, and all of a sudden you get pushed right in front of him, and you fall to the ground, and you're unconscious, and you break your shoulder, and it's all on YouTube.
Really?
That's the whole rumor.
Oh, no. I wish I had $1 for every rumor about me that
I'm
that
sure
heard.
there are plenty. Just but what you're a public figure. People are going to make stuff up. It's just how it is.
Yep.
It's like you're just going to be a target. It is. And plus, and even if you're not, people just say even if I hear rumors about myself, I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
you know what? I've done plenty to earn those rumors. The true stories are probably, there's some. Well, anyway.
No, I totally get, like back in the day, I was a huge party girl, and there's stories about me that are kind of like, well, shit. What are you gonna do? I was in my 20s.
Yep.
That's what happens in your 20s. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I don't want to, sit there and tell the whole world about it. But I put it to the world because I had no shame in my game. I was just like doing whatever I wanted because I was in my 20s and I was immortal.
Yep.
Like everybody,
Rumors are rumors, though.
Rumors are weird.
Yeah. I've heard a rumor. I've heard a rumor you like wrestling.
I love wrestling or wrestling.
Oh my God.
You just cracked your fingers.
I did. I'm sorry to say, Bucky. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I did that.
Yeah.
We got picked up to do a wrestling show, and someone called me like, Kevin loves wrestling.
Oh, I love wrestling.
Like, does he really? So
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So look, I have so many questions about this. I grew up with wrestling. My dad would take me and my brothers. The Ultimate Warrior was my favorite guy.
Okay.
Hogan just passed away. How did that make you feel?
I was never a big Hogan fan.
Neither was I.
Other than he really did a lot for professional wrestling as far as bringing it into the sort of mainstream, because it used to be that when I first was really into wrestling, people were like, oh, that's all fake.
Yes, I was
and my age was like Dick the Bruiser and my all-time favorite, Baron von Raschke.
Oh my gosh.
And all these guys, it's just, I love the theater of it, because it's, and my feeling is that professional wrestling, people who say it's all fake and everything, it brings out the same emotions that professional sports do. For example, you're a Cardinal fan, okay? And you're a Cardinal fan, and let's say they're up against the Cubs, all right? And
so we're kicking your butt at baseball.
The Cubs rightly win, okay?
Oh, okay.
But the reason the Cubs win is because either A, they cheated, right?
Okay.
Or
they corked a bat. I mean, that did happen.
Or
I
the umpire wasn't looking, or the umpire was blind, or something like that. And it's the same thing. The same emotions come out in professional sports that they do when you're watching professional wrestling.
It's true.
It's you've got one you want to win, one you don't want to win, and when the one that wins that you don't want to win, well, there's something to that. There is, there's a problem.
Do you remember the Ultimate Warrior?
I do.
Okay.
He went to ISU, I believe.
You stopped that.
No, I think he did.
Are you serious?
I believe so.
Oh my God,
At
that
least
just
for a
makes what I'm
semester.
about to show you like 10 times cooler.
Okay.
So, in the late 80s, early 90s, my dad took me and my brother to the Thomas and Mack Center to watch some wrestling because I grew up in Las Vegas, and he bought me this coat. This
Oh,
jacket.
look at that.
Look at
Yeah.
that, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Ultimate Warrior.
The
Like,
Warrior.
how freaking cool is this? This
Yeah,
thing is like
yeah.
from 1991. And I know there were several Ultimate Warriors, but this was my guy, buddy.
Yeah,
This was my
yeah.
guy. So whenever he said you liked wrestling, I was like, I've got to show this to Kevin
Yeah,
because no
I'm
one else is
glad
going to
you
realize how
did, yeah.
cool this freaking
Yeah.
thing is.
I think he at least went a semester at
Are you
ISU.
serious?
Yeah. Jim Hellwig, I think was his name.
Real, see, I am terrible with names.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy who was always in the dark with the hat, with the trench coat? He's kind of like
The
a
Undertaker?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
See, I
yeah.
suck at names really
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yep.
I do have another question for you.
Okay.
Okay. What is the weather word of the day?
Oh.
I know I kind of sprung that on you, so I'm interested.
Okay, I was going to use this one
Okay.
on my podcast, but I chose another one. Let me see. A monkey's wedding.
Okay, this sounds awesome. What is
Yeah,
this?
A monkey's wedding is when you have a cloudy day, but then all of a sudden the sun comes out.
That happens in Indiana a lot.
Or, yeah. So the sun comes out for a little bit. Sometimes there's rain and then the sun comes out. But when the sun comes out, when you have this sort of back and forth, that's called a monkey's wedding.
A monkey's wedding.
Yeah.
I've never
And
heard of that term.
Well, yeah.
Is that like a real term?
It
or
is,
something
yeah.
you're because
It's European, actually.
Okay.
But it can be used here.
And your grandmother was really into the weather.
Oh, she was.
Was she like? She sounded like from the story that I got, like a little bit, like almost spiritual. How she was. Is that correct? Is that remotely true?
I never
Like with the moon and stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very, very in tune to what I would call the rhythm of the earth.
Yeah.
And the sky and everything. It was her influence that led me to really understand that there is this sort of balance and rhythm that goes on this planet, even though sometimes we hear things that it's all out of whack and things are gonna, completely fall apart. Overall, there's just this thing that goes on. We're approaching a full moon as we
The
speak
blood
now.
moon.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
the full lunar eclipse, correct?
You got me on that.
Okay,
one.
I'm not
We're
sure.
not going to see an eclipse here.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
Okay,
we're not going
gotcha.
to see an eclipse here. So the moon is about to be full, and so my grandmother would follow the phases of the moon. I think it's valid to say that the moon influences us here on this planet.
Isn't that why people are called lunatics?
Yeah. Yeah, it
You
is. Yeah, because they thought that, well, when the moon was full, everybody was crazy.
Getting a little bonkers there for a
Yeah.
second, or like it's like when Mercury goes into retrograde,
Yeah.
everybody goes a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I believe in a lot of
Yeah,
things
it
like
just
that.
went. I think it just went out of retrograde.
It
didn't
did. It did about I think like 4 days ago.
Yep.
It does. I mean, what's your sign? I'm an Aquarius.
Okay,
What are you?
guess.
Let me guess. Oh
Okay.
gosh, I wouldn't even know. I don't know. But I'm gonna throw something out there. Libra, because you seem very laid back.
No.
Okay.
I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn. So so Capricorn, are you on the cusp of Scorpio, or are you pretty?
I don't think so. I'm January 3rd. I'm sort of right in the middle.
Oh, you're almost a New Year's baby.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that kind of growing up? Was that kind of a thing? Like kind of a bummer?
Yeah, it was because it was like, well, Christmas time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now this is part of your birthday too.
Oh,
See?
that
And then my daughter was, yeah,
Kevin knows.
my daughter was born on December 23rd.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so again, it's like,
holiday. Christmas must be stressful for your family.
well, I don't know. It may be a little. And so what we did when Christine, my daughter was younger, about July or so, we would have a birthday party for her because her birthday got all swallowed up
Yeah.
with Christmas. So
My birthday's on February 2nd, and I'm not a winter person.
Yeah.
So one year, in June or August, I can't remember, I was like, I'm gonna have a half birthday, and we went to Miami and to the Keys, and
oh, that's nice.
ooh, yeah, that was fun. Have you ever been?
Nope.
Where do you like to go on vacation? How do you like to relax on your downtime?
I'm just a real homebody. I don't like to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to go anywhere. My back deck, my front porch.
It's your little sanctuary. It's your little heaven on
Yeah,
earth.
yeah. I'm just not much of a traveler. I like my bed. I like my, everything that I have at home.
It's your comfort zone.
It is.
It is what it, you know what I mean? Have you been on any vacations this summer? Or have you just been
No.
because you've only been retired for how long?
Since January.
How did you get into the podcast? How did your podcast story start?
I went to do a podcast. Tammy Scheich
Right.
asked me to be on her podcast. And there was this guy sitting behind the controls, some guy named Devin. I don't know where
that
he
guy.
came
I
from.
heard of that
Yeah,
guy.
I don't know where he came from.
Yeah.
So anyhow, he said, hey, why don't you come on and do some, podcasts with me? And so I did.
And so you and I had the same story. That Devin guy, I was on with Tammy. We're sitting there shooting the breeze, and after he was like, "You know what, girl? I think you need a podcast." I was like, "I never thought about that because I have major stage fright, but this to me is not scary. This is fun, like one-on-one.
Yeah.
But like Devin was just at was it a conference? And he was with the mic on stage talking, and I'm like, I would rather have a spider sit in my hand than public speak like that. But this is different for me. But you've been speaking to the public forever. This is second nature for you. So it must be just do you love it? Are you loving it?
Yeah.
It's fun, right? I love it.
It comes so naturally. And I think I talked to maybe Tammy about this, and I truly believe this. I've done what I was born to do. Some people, I think, really have a tough time finding what they're born to do, and so therefore they're unhappy with their job. I got to go to work and la la la. And I just, as far back as I can remember, I've been sort of a performer, and I've loved weather because of the influence of my grandmother, and it just all came together. And frankly, winding up at Channel 10 and having the career I did and so on, I have no idea how that happened.
Yeah.
It just...
Because it happens so abruptly, and then you're like, well, what the heck's next? And
it just
kind of
unfolded
organically happens. Yeah.
It just unfolded for me. So, I don't know. I'm just a really lucky guy because I've been able to do what I believe I was born to do.
That's the goal. That's the goal for sure. Because I was you and I have that in common. I was a hairstylist for over 20 years, never worked a day in my life.
Yeah.
And then I retired, neck injuries, and just, I was doing my, basically, in short, since you're a guy, tattooing lips, tattooing eyebrows, that kind of thing. And then I retired from all of the beauty scene. And then I was on Tammy's show, and then Devin hit me up, and here I am, down a path that I'm in love with, that I never knew that I even wanted.
Yeah.
I knew that I'm a ham and I can talk to anybody, but I never expected in a million years Kelly's going to have a podcast, and I love this.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with people and talk, and I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming out of the house to come to my house. I appreciate you.
Oh, I get out of the house. I take my grandson to jujitsu.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Is it the one that's in the mall? Because I heard he's great.
Yeah.
Or Mike Nickers. What's his name?
McVicker. Jack McVicker.
Jack McVicker.
Yeah.
I told you I'm terrible at names. He's the ultimate badass. Does he teach your grandson?
Yes, he does.
Oh, and how old's your grandson?
He's 8.
Oh, yeah. He's going to grow up to be a tough cowboy.
Yeah, he'll be 9 here a little bit later in September.
Is that your only grandkid?
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
Kieran.
That's a cool name.
Kieran Kenneth.
That's awesome. Is that a family name?
It is. Kieran is not, but Kenneth was my dad's name.
Okay.
And my daughter just worshipped her grandpa. So she,
Well, that's very cool.
Yep.
What will you do for the rest of your weekend?
I don't know. It depends on what my wife has in store for me.
What does she like to do?
Boss me around. I hope let's not have this. Yeah.
Let's cut that.
No, we like to, what we have been doing just recently is the Markle Mill place, up there where they took the dam out where the old mill used to be is now.
Is that northeast?
Yeah. It's Otter Creek. And now it's just a nice little flow here of a stream with going over rocks and stuff. And you can hear the sound of the water and so on. Well, we like to take our dog up there because he loves to splash around in the water.
My mom takes Gracie there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Is that your daughter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gracie, my daughter. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I took Kieran up there the other day trying to teach him how to skip rocks. which I'm terrible at myself.
I got you. My dad taught me. I got your back.
Oh no,
You just gotta, it's all about getting those flat rocks.
I know.
You gotta hold one with this finger and this finger and kind of like that.
Oh.
And it's like rolling dice.
Yeah. All right.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Long time ago. I was
Yeah.
out there for a conference.
Oh, a conference.
Yeah.
But a long time ago, I'm sure it was a lot more fun.
I don't know. I don't gamble.
I never. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I don't gamble. I don't have the emotional ability to get up. Let's say I'm winning a little bit, and then you take that
You're gonna
next, and then you lose.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna win one more, and then you're broke. Because that's how they say the house always wins.
Yeah,
Because that's that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not a gambler
I don't
either.
gamble.
In fact, if whenever we go back to visit family, like I want to go to Boulder City, take my daughter and Reggie to the lake. Gosh dang it, Lake Mead. That's where I grew up. And to the marina where all those little carps are sticking out, their little lips are popping, just feed them the popcorn. That's if you do go back, do something like that.
Okay.
The strip is done.
All
Oops,
right.
sorry, I hope I didn't just the strip is fun. You'll love it.
Okay.
So is your wife like having you home now?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I bet.
It's, we I'm an only child, so I need a lot of alone time.
I get that.
I need a lot of just quiet time for me.
Mm-hmm.
My wife, on the other hand, comes from a big Catholic family.
Oh, wow. How many brothers and sisters does she have?
She had 6.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
That's a big family.
Yeah, it is.
That must be, what are the holidays like with that? Like when you can combine that because you're an only child and she's a child of 6. It's like,
well, the family now is kind of spread out.
oh yeah, everybody grows up and does their own
her brother will
families.
come over for Thanksgiving or Christmas. He lives in town. But everybody else is just kind of spread out. We're going to go here in a little while down to North Carolina to visit her brother. So
I've never been to North Carolina.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Is he on the water? Because I'm
he's
obsessed with water.
He's on the mountains.
Oh,
In the
okay, that's
mountains.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love any place with like a lake, a creek, a stream, anything as long as there's water. I'm in my happy place.
There are have been studies done
Uh-huh.
that the sound of water, like the gurgling of water and so on, your brain waves, if you listen to it, your brain waves will change a little bit. And if you get next to an ocean or a place where there's a big waterfall,
Mm-hmm.
I may get this wrong, but there's this sort of release in the atmosphere of these particles and so on that help you feel better. That's why when you're out by the ocean, you hear the crashing of the waves and so on. Then there's this sort of renewal that you feel. This is a very natural process.
That makes complete sense to me because I'm not one to meditate because my mind goes 100 miles an hour and I can't shut it off. So
Well, that's why you meditate.
I know, but I can't shut my brain off. But like you are right because like whenever we go to the beach, I go to the ocean at night and just sit there. And this one time it was so cool. So it was like the full moon and then the light of the black water going right up to me and I'm sitting there and I'm meditating and oh my God, I felt like I left my body.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
maybe you did.
so at peace. Yeah, I believe in that
Yeah.
too. You never know. Is there anything about Kevin Orpurt that you want people to know?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything that they don't.
I know people think they know you, but
Yeah,
okay.
they do. I like to read.
What are you reading right now?
I just picked up. I picked up a book that I'd had around for a while that has to do with flying saucers or UFOs or UAPs or whatever you want to call them, and how humans have experienced them ever since time began, allegedly. So there's that, and it's a little book. It's called The Unidentified Flying. I forget.
It'll come to you as soon as you leave. You'll be like,
unidentified flying hyper object. I
oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you believe that aliens were a part of the Egyptian, like the pyramids and stuff like that? Or do you believe it was like high frequencies that were able to like kind of like pick them up just by frequencies alone? Or because
you know what? I don't know. I don't think it was aliens.
Mhm.
I'm not convinced aliens exist at all.
I talk to Reggie before you leave. He's got a story for you.
Does he?
Oh yes, sir.
All right.
He's got plenty.
Okay.
I don't know about aliens, but I'm a firm believer that I don't think I can believe that in 100 years we have come as far as we have, and in the thousands of years before us they did not.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I can't get behind like they didn't have power or anything like that. Like thousands of years they didn't live, and in 100 years we make amazing things. I can't get behind that.
No,
It doesn't make sense to me.
What's weird to me is like I believe in ghosts and I believe in aliens, but I am more afraid of aliens and the thought of them than I am of like running into like a ghost in the middle of the night.
What are you afraid of?
Well, I guess maybe more so of the unknown, because so many people, I've heard every ghost story under the sun.
Yeah.
And on all the alien stories I've heard or seen on TV are the abductions and the scariest shit you've ever heard in your life. What is that movie, Reggie, where he get the true story about the guy who's cuts down trees, who cuts down trees, and he got taken, and it's a documentary. It's a real story.
That guy, Travis Walton.
Fire
Is
the
that
Sky.
his
God, you're
Walton?
good at names.
Well, I just happen to remember that because that's another one I just, come on.
Are you doubting that, or what do you think? You're doubting it?
I am.
What would
Absolutely.
for show? What would make you believe? You'd have to see an alien, right?
Maybe there was a book deal in there somewhere.
Well,
That's all we're saying.
all I know is if you want to see an alien to believe in it, more power to you. I would rather not.
Yeah. See,
Ever.
First of all, I asked myself, why would they come here? Okay.
Right.
Why would they come here? And
To take over and suck our brains out with their tentacles.
no. It's and first and another thing is allegedly we have these very high civilizations, and they've developed space-time travel, and they can come over here and so on, and then they crash and then they wreck.
Right.
What's the deal with that? You fly across the universe, and all of a sudden you're like, wrecking. It seems like they would have developed a way to land.
To land normally.
Yeah. And then it might be, take account for gravity. Well, why? Why wouldn't you account when you go to Earth, the gravity is going to be like this? A lot of times you don't see aliens, people who say they see aliens, they don't have breathing gear on. They're walking around in our environment, in our earthly environment, without protective gear.
Right, which in their environment, allegedly, it would be a lot different.
Well,
because
it seems like it would.
Yeah, I would,
it seems like it would.
How do you feel about the government actually coming out saying yes, there are? Do you think it's sleight of hand with something else going on?
Yeah, I do. I think that because there's, I don't know if you've watched, there's this big spaceship that's supposed to be
the
headed,
mothership coming this way in like 2 weeks or something like that. I've heard of it.
And there's this sort of talk about how, we got to be careful because this could be the aliens. And we're starting to hear little stories about, it could be. I believe that the whole alien and even maybe the ghost thing is all tangled up with how people think.
Mm-hmm.
And how humans process stress in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the world now, there are wars, there are people not getting along, there are all kinds of conflicts and so on.
It's tragic.
And so what better way to focus
on something else
is on something else. And I'm not really ready to say I don't believe it's not a hoax because, hoax in the sense that it's a misdirection.
This is a controversial question. What do you believe that we landed on the moon?
I used to.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I remember that day. I'm an old guy, and I remember I was at band camp up at Ball State University. I was in like 8th grade something, and they let us stay up to watch the moon landing.
Right. That must have been pretty cool back then.
It was so exciting. I think it's curious that we've not been back.
And then we lost all the technology.
Well, that's what, yeah. So
there's too much that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If it's something as small as the flag blowing in the wind.
Well, they had a wire, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe we went to the moon, maybe we didn't. I don't know. I interviewed Gene Cernan one time, who was the last man to walk on the moon. But I didn't ask him about it, and he'd had a few cocktails, so
That would be the perfect time to ask him about it.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Yeah. Who's like the coolest person you've ever interviewed for you in your career? Like a highlight of your career when you got to interview so and so.
I guess, well, two people I would say. First of all, Pat Buttram, Mr. Haney from Green Acres.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember that.
I know what you're
show.
talking about.
And Pat Buttram, it was down at at Greene County at the Shrine Club, because every year Phil Harris, who is an old Hollywood star, used to come back. He was from Linton, and they would have a big fundraiser for scholarships. And Phil Harris would bring his Hollywood buddies back, people like Jimmy Dean, people like Woody Woodbury, who's great. And Gene Cernan was there, and so was Pat Buttram. And I knew I was going to interview Pat, and I said, Mr. Buttram, you play Mr. Haney on Green Acres. I've got a weather pointer here, and I'm going to do the weather. I'm going to interview you, and maybe you could then offer to sell me this pointer. And he goes, oh yeah, I can do that. So I did. I went through this thing, and I did the weather live, and I said, well, Mr. Buttram, thanks for being here. He says, I know that you're a weatherman and you don't have a pointer. And I said, I've got this pointer here for you. And I said, well, thank you. And he goes, that'll be $25.
Oh my God, that's great.
And so, yeah, that was good. I've interviewed some fun people. Another way, talking about wrestling, who was it? It was Mean Gene Okerlund, who was an announcer, and the wrestlers came to town, and I said to Mean Gene, I said, I'm going to interview you here in a little bit. Would it be possible to get like a heel? That's a bad guy in wrestling.
Did you say a heel?
A heel.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You have a face or a heel.
Okay.
Face is a good guy, heel is a bad guy.
Got it. I never knew that.
Yeah. So he goes, let me check. So up here comes Jeff Jarrett, who is, is a very famous wrestler. And Jeff's thing was to have a guitar, and he'd smash you over the head with a guitar. So he comes out, and I'm interviewing Gene. And before the interview, I said to Jeff Jarrett, I said, okay, now when I say that's tonight here at Holman Center, that's when you can come in and say whatever you want. He was great.
He just jumped right in.
Yeah, he came, he goes.
Like a natural.
Yeah, he goes, I ought to clobber you, and I ought to clobber everybody here in
all
this town.
In action.
Yeah,
That's so fun.
And I said, oh, well, okay, we'll be back.
I want to see that. Is that in the archives? Can I find that on YouTube?
Know where
That's
it
so
is.
cool.
It was years ago. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah.
that is so. Are you planning on interviewing anybody on the podcast? Is there anybody that you want to get on yours?
I'd like to get Patrice on there.
Oh, she'd be fun.
I think that would be a one.
I met her a couple times. She was very nice. One of my really good friends, Crystal, does her nails.
Oh, is that right?
Yep, I used to work at Hair Goddess a long time ago.
Okay.
Patrice Kramer. She's a very nice person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and you asked me about aliens. I will say one thing. Two. I believe that the people have been seeing things in the sky.
Like even NASA, even their site's starting to talk about some
well,
stuff.
Yeah. But even prior to that,
right?
Back in the 1800s, or the 1700s.
Well, it's all in the hieroglyphics. Or is that their?
Well, yeah, hieroglyphics.
Yeah,
and it's possible that what we're seeing is something there. I'm more inclined, because of that, I'm more inclined to believe that what we're dealing with is something other than aliens from outer space. I'm more inclined to believe it's something that has always existed along with us here on Earth.
Are you speaking of the Anunnaki?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was curious.
I'm not.
right there.
Nope.
That's where you're going.
Nope.
I'm right in my head, Devin.
I'm talking about, okay, how deep do you really want to go?
Let's do this.
Okay. I'm talking about
The show's all yours, Kevin.
Okay. I'm talking about the archons.
Okay, I've never heard of this.
Okay.
You know what okay.
Mhm.
I do not. Tell me more.
According to um, the Gnostic belief system,
Right. I got
yeah,
that.
and Gnostics were Christian,
Hmm.
okay, but that's before the Romans got hold of Christianity. And
I'm reading a book right now about Mary Magdalene that just taught me what a Gnostic means.
okay, so the Gnostics had this whole cosmology of how creation went. That there is this superior being that is untouchable, unknowable, just it's beyond anything
Something
that.
like God, maybe?
Well,
Or
yeah.
okay, gotcha.
And then beneath that is this hierarchy of other creations that this one entity emanated. Okay, so you have a whole series of like big gods, I guess,
Right.
um, which kind of accounts for, if you read in the Ten Commandments, it says, "Thou shalt not have no other gods before me."
Hmm.
Okay, which is an acknowledgement that there are other gods, right? Okay, so
For sure.
anyhow, there's this, and you have these other creations, and then it gets down to these other little emanations that decided to start creating things. And the earth is part of that. Okay. And the earth, according to this thinking, was created by something called Yaldabaoth. Okay. Which was an entity. All right.
What kind of entity?
Like a demigod, a demiurge.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not really a big god, but not a little god, but just, something in this realm that we can't.
Are you talking about the giants by chance?
No.
Okay.
No. So anyhow, part of what happened with this creation is there are these archons. It's spelled Archons. And archons they can be called, what's the word I'm looking for? They can be called demons.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the archons are the ones that on this planet, they're the one, you might think of them as maybe the devil, okay? Because they're the ones that are trying to manipulate how life goes on this planet. The archon's job is to pull any of the creation on this planet away from acknowledgement, away from the understanding of the one true creator and the one true God. And the archons are messing with this. And the archons can assume identities, and they can appear to us,
mimic
in things. And so what I think might be going on is, because this has been happening as far back as you can go, I think may not be archons, that may not be it at all, but I think whatever we're experiencing is on this planet and has been on this planet or right above this planet forever.
I think you're spot on. I think you're, and that even comes in even to the modern Christian faith, because we see the fall of Lucifer,
right,
with the third of the angels. That's the archon. That's the way I've always perceived it. Is in their job is in the Roman gods. You see, they believe that they fall within that. They have these different abilities to, like you said, like they can come to you a different way. China, and if you look at all these different religions, they all come and see them in a very similar way, but it's a little different. China, Mayans, they were by a fiery dragon.
So we're talking about angels and demons, but just different terminology.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And what I'm not doing a very good job of trying to get across is what is going on. What we're seeing is not from the stars. It's there.
Right.
It's not. It's from here. It has coexisted with us,
walked among us, and everything.
Yeah.
That's
the devil was kicked to earth.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. That's just terrifying to me. That's absolutely terrifying.
So and then concerning the pyramids and those things, I am really inclined to believe that Earth has gone through cataclysms
Mm-hmm.
and
Resets.
civilizations that have developed and flourished, not necessarily in the way we do, maybe the ancient Egyptians didn't have cell phones or those kinds of things, but if we could go back, I think it would be just like a whole different world,
I can only
it'd be,
imagine.
and so I think probably humans are responsible for building all of these things. We just don't know how they did it.
No way do 'cause the theories that I've heard that I'm actually interested in is okay, obviously the Hebrews, like a billion Hebrews did it. Then I heard about, frequency, being able to lift those heavy things with frequency. And then I've heard, aliens built the pyramids or
Yeah.
helped build the pyramids, came down and helped and stuff like that. Because back in the day, allegedly they used to coexist. So it's like these are things that are so interesting to me and I want to know, but I never want to see it. And
I think the whole point of people trying to figure out how they were built takes away from what they were built for. I think they wanted us to try to figure out, well, how could they have built them, rather than us trying to figure out what they were using them for. Because you're seeing them all over the world. It's not just Egypt.
Yeah.
You're looking at Mayan, like in the Mayans and all, and that's where you kind of see they push you in a direction to think, but you really need to be going over here.
yeah,
Who cares how they were built?
it's the more sleight of hand
What were they
situation.
built for? We were talking, and there in the center of the big pyramid, there's a little box, and forever they were like, it's where the sarcophagus was.
What's the sarcophagus?
That's what they would be buried in. It would be like our modern
Their
day,
tomb?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sarcophagus is where the body goes in. It would be like a casket.
Okay.
But when someone laid in it, like a 6 foot tall man, which is what the pharaohs usually were, 6 foot or a little taller, when they laid it, they were squeezed up. So like it's not the size of their sarcophagus, but it's the exact measurements of the Ark of the Covenant. So then they talked about how in different Arks of the Covenant, they built a new model, either MIT or Harvard, and it let off electricity. So could there have been? So there's so many different things that you can look at.
It's so interesting.
so
So
interesting.
many questions.
But like, I love your idea, the resets. Like, I believe,
Yeah.
I think our last reset, I love the research of the Tartarian movement, which would be the big mudslide, which their belief is that a lot of the big buildings you see we found. We didn't build them, we found them. We uncovered them, and you've used them. And so there's so much
I'm
things.
learning
Yeah.
a lot
There's a
right
lot.
now. That's actually I'd never heard of that one before.
No, that's a big one. What's your thoughts on Tartarian?
Yes, please.
I've just started hearing about it, and so I don't think I'm qualified really to talk a whole lot about it.
Yeah, I don't have a dog in this race. I just want to hear everything you guys. This is awesome.
I know that it's apparently this. It's not necessarily a race of people, but Tartaria was an area that was eventually just kind of wiped out. In that the land is still there, but they started calling it different names. I think that's how that.
So is
works.
another example of a reset the comet?
Yes.
Okay.
The
Okay.
Great Flood.
So the
Comet.
flood, the comet, and so allegedly we're coming up on what potentially might be another spiritual reset. I know I don't know, but I've been hearing a lot of things. But I guess the end of the world is not what people have pictured the end of the world being, or what we were told to in the Bible with like the fire and the brimstone, all of that stuff. It's just supposed to be an ascension from 4D to 5 or G 5G 5D. Anyways, and so that's what people are saying is happening now. People are just ascending if they're spiritual. Does that make any sense? Because I'm kind of grasping at straws, trying to learn this. So I thought maybe I could pick your brain.
Yeah. I think it's possible. What I do believe, and I've become more aware of this, I think over the past few months, is what I seems to be a real struggle of evil and good,
Yes.
and it's fascinating to me to see how this is playing out. I'm 70 years old, and I know I remember there were riots back in the 60s out in Los Angeles and things like that. But now, I don't know. It just seems
The polarities.
yeah,
very
yeah.
scary.
And so I think it eventually has to go into something with if you're talking about a spiritual reset. I think we're headed into another age. You hear the song, the Age of Aquarius,
Yeah.
and so we are. That's true science. That's real science. Pardon me. So you're going into Aquarius, which is interesting. You got a minute? I'll tell you a story.
Let's do this.
I'll tell you a story.
All right. I'm all in.
The sun rises on the first day of spring against a certain constellation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that constellation against which the sun rises changes about every 2,100 years.
What's the name of the constellation?
The constellation now is Pisces.
Okay.
Okay. Prior to that, the constellation was Aries. Okay. And the symbolism of Aries is the lamb, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay. And prior to that was Taurus, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bull.
The bull, yeah.
So if you go back and look at religious symbolism over the course of many thousands of years,
like runes and things like that.
No, just like the object of worship
Oh,
that people had.
Uh-huh.
So there was a time several thousand years ago when the image of what people worshipped was a bull, because the sun was rising against Taurus. See?
Yeah.
So, and then when the sun began to rise in Aries, the symbolism became the lamb. One of the things that I find interesting is that when the Israelites were in the desert, Moses goes up to Mount Sinai, and he's hanging out with God, and he comes down and finds out that the Israelites they've made a golden calf. I think what the story behind this is, and because Moses got really upset, they were worshiping the bull when it was time for a new age for the lamb.
So he wanted them to move forward and progress.
Correct.
Huh.
Then we get into the next imagery, and that is Pisces. The image of Pisces is the fish. And so Christianity, if you look at the early symbolism of Christianity, it'll be,
I always wanted to know what was up with the fish. Now, okay.
They adopted the fish early on.
Yeah.
And it was actually the sign of safety if they were being hunted and killed.
Uh-huh.
So if we were to talk, and before I would tell you about Jesus, I would draw a half circle, and if you drew the other part to form the fish, I knew you were a Christian. We can talk and we can discuss God. But if you didn't, then I knew
to move on. Okay.
And so they've used the fish in many things. So yes.
So now we're edging into Aquarius, and the imagery of Aquarius is the water bearer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I find it interesting that when Jesus was hanging out, I think it was in Jerusalem, his disciples were saying, we want to follow you, or how this goes. And Jesus said, watch for the man carrying the water and follow him into the upper room, and I will join you. I think that's how that story goes. Anyway, to me, that may be an allusion to another age is coming, and watch out for the water bearer. That's going to be the sign.
Are you talking about the flood?
No. Just when you talked about a spiritual rebirth or reawakening and so on, I think if we could live long enough, we would find that there will be a shift.
So Jesus was just kind of a spiritual hippie himself, just talking about the signs and like what they mean.
He was teaching him. I think he was teaching what as humans couldn't understand.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I would say Jesus was would you call him a hippie?
A hippie, yeah. Like that's kind of always how I picture Jesus, just like a guy a normal guy who was just a really wonderful person. He was just a hippie. He just wanted to feed the hungry and have everybody get along, and stuff like. Because I'm not a religious person, I'm more of a spiritual person. But I love learning stuff like this, because this is so not anything I've never heard of.
You just sparked a huge.
Yeah.
I'm about to go home and study that.
I want to
Yeah.
know what
That was
books to
good.
read. I need to know what to Google.
My
when you
library,
leave.
I've got I've probably got 900 books,
It's very interesting.
and they go from religion to mythology
Mhm.
to magic to
So you're a pretty open-minded guy. You
I would say so. I'm curious. You know,
Yeah.
I'm curious, and so
Is there anything? What's the next thing that you want to learn? I know we have to wrap up soon, but what's the next thing that you want to learn that you're looking to gain information about, so you can come back and tell me some stories?
okay. Gosh, I don't know. That's a good question.
These are good stories. I know I
Sometimes this
have a
stuff
lot
just
to
kind of comes
think
to
about.
me. You know.
Yeah, I have a lot
Um,
to think about. I do have a question for you, actually.
Yeah.
I was watching one of your podcasts. You said something about thunder in the water. Am I right about that?
I'm not sure.
Something about thunder in the ocean, something like that. Does that ring a bell? Or
No, it doesn't.
Oh shit! I don't know what I'm talking about then.
No,
I thought
don't-
I thought you could. I could have swore you said something about thunder, like
I-
or it's like thunder in the water or something. Am I?
I might have. You know what? At this stage, my memory. I remember things about for an hour.
Welcome to my world, my friend.
And then, you know, if I don't write it down, like, where am I supposed to be at 2:00? Well, I was here. So,
Well, I'm glad
Anyhow.
you came. I'm really glad you came. This means a lot to me. You were like one of my goals. I was like, I want to get Kevin Orpurt on. I
Oh,
was like, I
wow.
want to get to know him. He seems like a lot of fun. And I've always I'm like, he just seems like a really cool hippie. That's just what I
well, you know,
because my
yeah,
definition of hippie is a laid back, open minded person.
yeah, I would probably qualify. You know,
Yeah.
I'm an old hippie. I graduated high school in '73, and sort of, you know, in 1968, I was 13, and that's when I was really starting to, you know,
Learn.
become aware of
Oh yeah, become
the
aware
world.
of all
Yeah.
the fun things that go on.
Yeah.
Or went on.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's what you're supposed to do when you're young.
Yeah.
That's what it's all
Yeah.
about for sure. But it was really nice meeting you, and thank you so
Before
much
end
for
out,
coming.
before you end out,
Ooh, what
I
you
like to
got?
point out, American. What's your wrestler?
The Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior did go to ISU in 1977 and 78.
Ah.
He does that. He Googles things in like 3 seconds.
Just
Yeah.
If viewers are watching.
All right.
you are correct.
All right.
How many famous people are from around here? Axl Rose is from Lafayette. Was I right? Lafayette?
I'm from here.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Just getting
Mic
involved.
drop. Show over.
Yeah, from Terre Haute. Well, you've got Scatman Crothers.
Okay.
You've got
Who's a football player? That
Oh,
Oh, what's his name? The young one. He just went to NFL.
He's a ginormous football player.
His
Really
dad's
nice
a lawyer,
guy.
I thought.
oh, yeah.
Last name starts with an S. Anyway, that guy.
Eddington.
No.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Oh,
What's the
Etling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking about someone
named,
else.
Dylan Snyder.
N-
He's
no.
a country singer.
Yeah.
He went to school with us.
Okay.
He's a famous country singer now.
Oh, he is. Okay.
JT Cornfloss was one of the most sought after studio guitar players in like Nashville history.
Okay.
Was from here.
Yeah. He just passed away.
Just passed
Yeah,
away. not
yeah,
too
just
long ago.
recently.
Wow.
Amazing
Yeah.
player.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. We're just friends.
Let me see. There was
Rutherford.
Steve Weatherford.
Thank you. That's the one I was
I'll
thinking
tell-
of.
I
got one. I got a name.
I used to interview him
Yeah?
occasionally, like at festivals and stuff. And Patrice, back at the station, always said, "Tell him to take his shirt off. Tell him to take his shirt because he's
She
all
seems like
muscly
fun.
and yeah, she is fun. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'd
Do you
like to
guys-
get her on my.
I'm sure she'd love to. Do you guys keep in touch?
Yeah.
Go grab some. Well, not cocktails or anything. Grab some food every once in a while.
Yeah, we do. All of us who got canned, about once a month we get together.
Sometimes I think, like God, you have to thank God for unanswered prayers or whatever, and put it any way you want. Like who knows what good came out of that?
Yeah.
You've got the podcast.
I do.
You've got this new journey, and it's going to be meant to be. It's going to be better than ever, and
Yeah.
it was probably a blessing in disguise. It was bullshit, but I think it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is really cool. Your podcast is awesome.
Thank you.
And I got to meet you, and Kevin Orpurt's from Terre Haute. Hello.
Yeah.
So that says something. And all you have to say now is peace, love, and tree hugs from Kevin Orpurt.
I say that.
Uh-huh.
Peace, loves, and tree hugs from Kevin Orpurt.
Oh, thank you.